Ever since NCAA 12, my very first NCAA game, I've always wondered who that one Nevada player was who set the record for most receiving yards in a single season. Well, I finally looked that up about a week ago, and it's not a big name that most college fans would think of or even remember. The man who set the still-standing record is Trevor Insley. So today, I want to look back at who Trevor Insley was, dive into his magical season, and see whatever happened to him after that year. San Clemente High School in Orange County, California is where his career all started. Insley put up eye-popping numbers throughout his high school career, and where this earned him accolades of all-county, all-section, and all-regional, even helping his team beat powerhouse Mater Dei, whose senior class hadn't lost a game until this matchup in 1995. With the recruiting process, Insley visited multiple schools, but took a trip to Reno for a visit with the University of Nevada. He fell in love with the area surrounding Reno, citing Lake Tahoe's beauty as a main selling point. So the University of Nevada is where he would attend, and where he even saw action freshman year. Participated in 11 games, grabbing 36 passes for 574 yards with 5 touchdowns. Then with the graduation of senior Damon Wilkins, who put up impressive numbers of his own, Insley took his spot in the lineup and shined sophomore season. I'm talking his receptions went up to 59, yards up to 1,151, and touchdowns up to 6. His 19.5 yards per reception led the Big West Conference, and Insley only got second-team All-Big West for this year. Junior year, he changed that and made first-team All-Big West, as his stats were 69 catches, 1,220 yards, with 11 touchdowns. Again, his yards per reception of 17.7 led the conference. Finally, what brought you all here? The main point of my video, his senior season of 1999. Sadly, there isn't much about Insley on the internet for this season. Heck, even on Nevada's own page for him, it's only about a paragraph long. Nevertheless, from the thumbnail that you saw, Insley had 2,060 yards for his final season at the University of Nevada. This obviously led the country by over 510 yards, led the country in receptions as well, 134, by over 20 receptions, then where Insley was tied first with 13 touchdowns in the country. And I'll give you a clue as to why he may have had 2,060 receiving yards this season. Did you get why he may have had so many yards? With Nevada being down in games a lot, their defense was actually the 4th worst in the nation. It gave Insley plenty of opportunities to benefit from an air raid offense when I guess trying to come back. But on the contrary to my point I just made, he did accomplish this feat of over 2,000 yards in just 11 games. So that is actually crazy, as receivers recently have had 13 to 15 games to break that record of his. Also helped out that out of the 247 completions by starting quarterback David Neal this season, more than half went to Insley, where the second most receptions came at 51. Even in blowout games such as Nevada's game against the Oregon Ducks, where the Wolfpack lost 72-10, Insley still recorded 14 catches this game. Just seems like head coach Jeff Tisdale left his starters in way too long and didn't care if they got hurt. I guess if you're getting all those targets and the head coach leaves the starters in the game for so long, you're bound to have the type of statistical season that Insley did. However, with this great season, Insley didn't even win the 99 Biletnikoff Award, best receiver in the country. He was a finalist along with Florida State's Peter Warrick, and it was won by Stanford's Troy Walters instead. Now I know Nevada were in a weak Big West Conference where the only decent team was Boise State, but come on. He did something no one else had done and still hasn't done. Other awards were first team All-Conference in the Big West, being a consensus second team All-American behind the previously stated Warrick and Walters. At the end of his career, Insley held 6 records, with that being career receiving yards 5,005, career receptions 298, single season yards 2,060, most career games gaining 100 yards or more 26, most 200-yard games in a season 6, and single season yards per game 187.3. Trevor was even 3 receptions short of breaking Jerry Rice's all-division NCAA career receptions record of 301. But now as of 2025, he only holds 2 of those 6 records I just mentioned, receiving yards in a season and receiving yards per game in a season. It's also a shame to the college football world that Trevor Insley is not in the College Football Hall of Fame. I found out the reason as to why he actually isn't eligible for the Hall of Fame was because that Insley never made the first team All-American team his record-setting season. Even on a poll that I saw from a website I learned that fact about, majority of Nevada football fans on Twitter voted Colin Kaepernick to be in the College Football Hall of Fame first over Insley, so that shows you how forgotten he has become. Anyways, after his 4 seasons in Reno, Insley declared for the 2000 NFL Draft, and where to maybe some surprise, he went undrafted. Didn't help his draft stock that he participated in the Hula Bowl, similar to the Senior Bowl, where he sprained his MCL during that, combined with Insley being a little undersized for a typical NFL wide receiver at the time. He did, however, receive some UDFA offers from the Indianapolis Colts, Cincinnati Bengals, and Detroit Lions, but where he decided on the Colts. Insley didn't see any action with the team the 2000 season, with the Colts actually selecting him to go to NFL Europe in January of 2001. So from April to June, he was a part of the Barcelona Dragons, where he had 654 receiving yards in 11 games, even made the championship that season with Barcelona. Then Insley came back to the Colts for the 01 season and played in 11 games, getting the stats of 14 catches for 165 yards and 1 NFL touchdown. Colts terminated his contract after this season, but the Texans picked him up for their first season in 2002. Unfortunately, Insley broke his ankle during their first preseason game and was on IR the entire season. 2003, it was off to the CFL, where he signed a deal with the Ottawa Renegades, but I couldn't find any stats if he did play or not, where after the stop in Canada in 03, Insley hung up the cleats for good. So that's what happened to the greatest wide receiver to play FBS football, set a record that people don't remember, goes undrafted in the NFL, and not even enshrined for his historical season. Sadly, only people really obsessed with college football remembered Trevor Insley and his magical season that he had. But I hope now that I gave you viewers a new player to look back on and talk about with other people, because this guy deserves more love than he gets for his historic feat in the sport. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and hitting the bell notifications. Thank you.